Hey Hunter, it's Dr. Scott. Has some feedback for you on your SA2 draft. As a quick reminder for this assignment, I'm taking a look at your thesis statement, that it's clear, that it's focused, and that it's something debatable, something that you can argue. Also taking a look at your ability to use detail from the murals, and from a couple quotes to support that thesis statement. I'm also looking at how you've organized your paper. Do you have a reason why you've located or placed ideas in a location? And then is there a reason why you're moving from one idea to another? And transitions is a part of that as well. And then finally, I'm taking a look at your ability to integrate a couple sources. So a couple quotes. So that's what I'm looking for. And what I did is I read your essay a couple times. I wrote some notes to myself on the side of things that I wanted to mention to you. So I'll just kind of talk through my feedback. It looks like you haven't really written an introduction yet, and that's fine for a draft. I think these 4 or 5 lines, this is an attempt to write a thesis statement. Right now it's not very clear. It's not very focused at this time. When I first read it through, this first paragraph, I thought that the essay was going to more or less focus on this idea, that these murals are trying to emphasize pride, and they were going to do that through the use of colors. And then I wasn't sure what the other ideas were that you were going to write about. But it seems the way that you've set up the paper is like, we've got these 2 murals, and they're doing these 3 different things, and that's going to be a tough sell for an assignment of this size. I do think that you can take a concept like pride and make the paper about that. I don't exactly know what you're talking about just yet with the history idea that you have here, but I think there's something that you can do with that. And then it's like color, facial expressions, body posture, the way that the murals are framed, some of the visual details in the mural. Like, there's a number of different ways that they can get some kind of thing about history going on there, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, the focus of the paper is pretty. I'm kind of confused about where it's at. I think you might have something with the pride idea. I think color is something you can definitely talk about in both the murals. But the murals are also doing 2 things really different. Like, that For Freedom mural is one of the few murals that's not completely lifelike. And the Portsmouth Motorcycle Club is more it is more lifelike. So I don't know. I think you could have an argument there that they're trying to use reality in different ways here, and because for Freedom mural, maybe you're arguing that Dafford really wants us to have pride in how important the armed services are, and that's why he does this global thing. I'm not exactly sure what the focus will be, but I do know that the focus, it ain't here just yet in this draft. I'm trying to kind of talk you through some options, and I'd be happy to do that in person. I think a Writing Center tutor could help you out as well. But I think you're talking about 2 really good murals to write about for this assignment. That's like the argument that you have about those murals, it's not there just yet. I think the first body paragraph, I wasn't exactly sure what the overall point of the paragraph was. I think it's color, because you're talking about a few different colors here. But again, what are those colors trying to help or do? I think that's really, it's not there just yet. And I see concepts here like diversity. I have uniqueness. I mean, there's a few options that you have here. I think a concept like pride could be one that kind of connects the dots a bit, but right now I don't see this being connected to something bigger, to an argument that you could have. And I think this note down here, maybe we should get together and chat about that at some point, about what you see that argument as being. I'm also interested in what you mean by the great history line, that we have. I think you're trying to say that we have, historically speaking, we have a tradition of things like this, but then also we do have a lot of folks that serve in the military from this part of Ohio and this part of the region, and that's something that we're how they display that history is kind of interesting. Which is I kind of want to ask you about that. Like the PMC mural gives us a visual history. Like there's people involved with the club now, and then we also see people that have been involved with the club in the past. And I think that's the top part of the mural. That history idea with for freedom, it's not as, it's very different, right? Like they just show the medals of different conflicts, like the service medals for different conflicts. They don't show us, you know, battles or anything like that. Not really, right? I think part of it is maybe on the columns, on the bottom of the columns. But what really kind of stands out is the service members at parade rest, with their attention fully ahead of them. And I think there's something to say there about the history. The PMC thing, yeah, we can show you the history, but for freedom, like, we'll give you a little bit of that history, but what's really more important is the right now with these service members looking forward to possibly to the next conflict. So I'm kind of interested in what you come up with there. They do history very differently in both murals, and I think that's something for you to write about and to think about. So this comment here, it's like, I think it's before I understood what you were really trying to do with your essay. I think pride is, again, it could be something that connects the dots in the essay. And I wrote that comment when I thought your overall paper was about pride, and then I saw a paragraph that was just about pride. So I think these two paragraphs, they might kind of go away, but I think that for me, like, I think your writing is best in this paper when you're writing about that idea. Like, I think that seems like the idea or the concept that you actually have something to say about. And it's kind of up to you if you feel like that's got legs and you're interested in writing that paper. I'm happy to give you some feedback and some help to get you there. If there's something going on here that you're really just not representing in this draft just yet, I think we need to chat and kind of find out what that is. I think the two might come together, right? Like, we are proud of this history that we have here that is the motorcycle club. It's also the Freedom mural. They show that history in very different ways. Color is used in very different ways. The whole framing of the murals, they're very different. And what does that say about about the pride that we have in those histories? Those could be some interesting questions that I think can get you to an essay that's going to be pretty awesome. So you got a ways to go, but in the first, I have been writing like a list of like a to-do list for folks. But right now, your job one is to figure out what that paper's overall argument is and what are those paragraphs about. So I'm happy to help you out with that. Come chat with me later this week or early this week, and let's see what ideas you have to get this essay where it needs to be. All right, Hunter. Your revision is going to be due Monday the 12th. So let's chat before then. All right. Talk to you soon.